block the truck?
Huh?
Should I block them?
Should block.
3 movers getting ready for the day help bring an Amber Alert for a missing little girl to a safe end, and the suspect ends up in jail.
Ms. Noriega, you are here because you were arrested on charges of custodial interference, a Class 3 felony.
I go through the search for Kehlani Rogers, where she was found, and I'll tell you what these movers are saying about what they did.
They're all very reluctant to say this, but they're all here.
A 2-year-old girl is home safe tonight after what authorities and court records describe as one of the more unusual child abduction cases to emerge from the Phoenix metropolitan area in recent memory. The child, identified as Kehlani Rogers, was reported missing from her family's home in Avondale, Arizona, in the early morning hours of Saturday, February 21, 2025. She was located safe approximately 2 days later, on Sunday morning, at a gas station convenience store in Phoenix, where a group of moving company employees used their work truck to block in the vehicle of the woman authorities alleged took her. That woman, 23-year-old Marina Noriega, is now in custody and facing a felony charge. What surrounds that charge, however, is a sequence of events that investigators, a reviewing judge, and legal analysts have each described as deeply unusual. To understand how a 2-year-old ended up missing from her own home, the case begins. Not with a break-in, not with a stranger lurking outside, but with an act of generosity. According to court documents filed by the Avondale Police Department, the Rogers family, a household with 3 children, all under the age of 3, encountered Noriega sometime prior to the evening of February 20th. Court records describe Noriega as unhoused at the time, recently transported to Arizona from California, with no address in the state and no family she could contact locally. Her father and her boyfriend, she told the family, were both incarcerated in California. Court filings indicate the family heard Noriega make several statements that they found unusual. She reportedly made spontaneous references to a baby daddy, initially indicated she had a child, and then walked that statement back. Family members also reported Noriega mentioning that she had, at some point, lost a baby. According to investigators, the family found these comments strange but attributed them to the guarded nature someone might have when confiding in strangers, protecting personal details out of caution. Based on that interpretation, and on what investigators describe as the family's understanding of Noriega's circumstances, they invited her to share dinner with them and spend the night. It was a decision made with apparent compassion. By all accounts in the court record, the Rogers family treated Noriega as a guest. She was shown to a space to sleep. The family shared a meal together. By around 11 p.m. on Friday, February 20th, Kehlani's parents had gone to bed in the master bedroom with all 3 children initially bedded down with them. At some point during the night, Kehlani was moved to a bed or couch in another part of the home, and the household settled into sleep. In the early morning hours, one of the other children woke crying. The father got up, prepared a bottle, and at that time observed Kehlani still present in the home, and Noriega awake in the living room watching television. He returned to bed. When another child cried sometime between 5:40 and 6:00 a.m., and he rose again, he noticed that Kehlani was gone. Noriega was also absent. The stroller that the family kept in the home was missing as well. The family immediately searched every room of the residence. They went outside and checked the surrounding neighborhood. When they found nothing, they called police. In the initial moments of that call, investigators noted an inconsistency. Kehlani's mother provided a false name. She later told investigators that there was an outstanding warrant for her own arrest and that she had been afraid of being detained during the search for her daughter. Once this was addressed, the family, according to court records, became fully cooperative, providing DNA samples, turning over their phones and passcodes, and doing everything asked of them by investigators. Avondale police conducted interviews and searched the area. When initial efforts produced no result, they brought in the Criminal Investigation Bureau and the Arizona Child Abduction Response Team. An Amber Alert was issued for Kehlani Rogers before 2 p.m. Mountain Time on Saturday, February 21st. The alert described Kehlani as a 2-year-old girl, last seen wearing pink pajamas with braids. It described Noriega as a white female, thin build, brown hair, hazel eyes, last seen wearing a white shirt and pink fuzzy pants. That alert began generating tips almost immediately. A driver contacted investigators to report having given a ride. to a woman and a child matching the Amber Alert description. That driver told police that Noriega had indicated she intended to take a train to California with the child. Based on that tip, investigators moved to a nearby train station. Noriega was not there. She did not appear on any passenger manifest for departing trains from that location. The timeline pressed on into Saturday night and Sunday morning without confirmation of her location. Separately, surveillance footage retrieved from a business in the city of Maricopa placed Noriega and Kehlani together. A photograph circulating in connection with the alert showed Noriega with the child in a stroller. The same stroller, Kehlani's parents confirmed to investigators, that was missing from their home. At approximately 6:51 a.m. on Sunday, February 23rd, a silver truck with Texas license plates pulled into the parking lot of a Quick Trip gas station in Phoenix. The woman who stepped out of that vehicle was Marina Noriega. Employees of Camelback Moving Company were at that same location as part of their regular morning routine before heading to client jobs. Multiple crews were present, 8 employees across 3 trucks. A Quick Trip security guard who had received the Amber Alert the previous day and who recognized the woman entering the store alerted the Camelback employees. He had already begun photographing the vehicle and was on the phone with police. What followed was captured on the Camelback company's dash cameras, both exterior and interior facing. The employees cross-referenced the Amber Alert on their phones, confirmed what they believed to be a match, and made a decision. One of the moving trucks was rolled forward and positioned to block Noriega's vehicle from leaving. A second truck took up position behind her. Noriega, court records and camera footage indicate, was not immediately aware of what was happening. The employees maintained a casual, low-key presence in the parking lot, waiting for police. At approximately 7:30 a.m., law enforcement arrived in force. Multiple cruisers surrounded the vehicle. Noriega was taken into custody. Kehlani Rogers was in the truck. She was safe. According to court documents, when Kehlani was returned to her parents, she told them she had been scared and had wanted her mother and father. She was physically unharmed. Noriega was transported to the Avondale Police Department, where she agreed to speak with investigators in a recorded post-Miranda interview. What followed is detailed at length in the court filings. Noriega initially told investigators that Kehlani was her biological daughter. She claimed the child had been born in Sacramento in September of 2021, a date approximately 2 years before Kehlani's actual birth. Noriega alleged that this child had been abducted from the hospital and that she had come to Arizona to search for family and had, she said coincidentally, located her long-lost daughter at a residence near 107th Street. Investigators pressed her on these claims. Noriega struggled to consistently spell or state the name she said she had given the child, offering different variations across the course of the interview. She could not provide verifiable addresses, names of medical facilities, or a coherent timeline of the alleged prior abduction. She stated she had placed her own father's name on the birth certificate, despite, as investigators noted, her father not being the child's biological grandfather. At some point during the interview, Noriega recanted entirely. She acknowledged that Kehlani was not her child. She told investigators she had not had a plan for the child after taking her. She denied any intent to sell or harm Kehlani. She stated that she and the child had slept on the street together during the period between leaving the Rogers home and being apprehended. She described the situation, according to court records, as a mistake. A glass pipe was recovered from Noriega's person at the time of her arrest. In court, Maricopa County Prosecutor Stephen Garcia disclosed that Noriega had admitted to using this pipe to smoke methamphetamine the day before her arrest. During the period, he noted that she had control of Kehlani. Investigators documented in court filings that Noriega appeared alert during the interview, oriented to time and place, able to identify the current president of the United States, and showed no obvious indicators of acute mental health crisis. However, no formal clinical evaluation was conducted, and that notation by investigators does not constitute a professional mental health assessment. Marina Noriega appeared in court the day after her arrest. She was charged with custodial interference, a Class 3 felony under Arizona law. During the hearing, the judge reviewed the prosecution's filing, heard argument from Prosecutor Garcia, and set bond at $250,000 cash only, the amount the prosecution had requested. The judge agreed with the state's characterization of Noriega as both a flight risk and a danger to the community. Conditions attached to any potential release were extensive: electronic monitoring, house arrest, no return to the scene of the alleged offense, no contact with any victim, complainant, or witness, and an absolute prohibition on contact with any minor. Drug testing was added following the prosecutor's disclosure regarding the methamphetamine pipe. Hearings were scheduled at Maricopa County Superior Court for March 2nd and March 4th. The question of what charge or charges ultimately apply to this case and what the resolution of those charges may look like involves several layers of Arizona law and procedure. Custodial interference, as charged, is a serious felony. Attorneys with knowledge of Arizona criminal procedure have noted publicly that given the nature of the case, the volume of documented evidence, and the absence of significant factual disputes about what occurred, a resolution through plea agreement rather than trial is a statistically common outcome in cases of this type. Arizona's Rule 11 process allows for a court-ordered evaluation of a defendant's competency to stand trial, a process that, if initiated, can extend proceedings by several months. Arizona's Victims' Bill of Rights provides that the Rogers family is entitled to be consulted by the prosecution on any proposed plea arrangement. While final prosecutorial authority rests with the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, that office is bound to consider the family's position, and Maricopa County has a documented practice of giving substantial weight to victim input when victims seek significant accountability. Several aspects of this case remain without resolution or official clarification. Whether additional charges will be filed at grand jury has not been confirmed as of available reporting. Whether Noriega will be formally evaluated for mental health or competency has not been publicly disclosed. The outcomes of the March court dates have not been reported in the available record. The question of whether Noriega previously experienced a pregnancy or infant loss, a detail she mentioned to the Rogers family and referenced obliquely during her police interview, has not been confirmed or denied by investigators in available public filings. What is confirmed is this: Kehlani Rogers, 2 years old, is home with her family. The Amber Alert system, activated by the Avondale Police Department on the afternoon of February 21st, generated the tips and public awareness that led directly to her recovery. A Quick Trip security guard, 8 employees of Camelback Moving Company, and the technology on those moving trucks, inward and outward-facing dash cameras, all played documented roles in the sequence of events that ended with Noriega in handcuffs and Kehlani safe. Marina. Noriega remains in the Maricopa County Jail on a $250,000 cash-only bond. She has not entered a plea. She has not been convicted. The case is in its earliest procedural stage. What prompted her to leave the Rogers home with their daughter in the pre-dawn hours of February 21st, and what she intended to do in the hours and days that followed, are questions that remain part of an active legal proceeding. The next scheduled court dates are March 2nd and March 4th at the Maricopa County Superior Court downtown. Any further developments in the charging, evaluation, or plea status of this case will come through that court.